Hello everybody, it's Foster and I'm back with another video. Today I'm going to be reading Borrow My Heart by Kasie West, chapter 12. I hope you all enjoy it, and I'm just gonna get into it. So yeah, chapter 12. Rule: never let the guy you want to date hang out with the guy you're sort of dating. What are you doing? A voice from behind me asked. I jumped up from attaching a leash to Bean's collar and turned around. Chad, you scared me. And Bean let out a single bark. Don't worry, I'm not stealing your girl, Chad said to Bean. I laughed. Chad did know how to tell a joke, but his face was serious, with no hint of it being a joke at all. I turned my laugh into throat clearing. Sorry, I didn't mean to scare you, Chad said. Are you taking Bean somewhere? He stood on the other side of the chain link door, staring into Bean's kennel. He was still as cute as ever with that dark hair and cut jaw. He was also holding a leash, the sweet corgi from the other day on the other end. Where are you taking her? Francesca, however you say that, has been adopted. Really? Is she staying with her brothers? Yeah, all three have been home together. That's amazing. I never thought the three would get to stay together. Hopefully there was some sort of elusive magic left over for Bean. Me and some friends are going to have a puppuccino drinking contest for an online game we're starting to try to home Bean. When people see the video, hopefully they'll sign up for the next contest. Oh right, the impossible task, place him before the end of summer. I covered Bean's ears and gasped, Watch your mouth. Chad calmly looked at Bean standing there. Chad was always relaxed and steady, like he was grounded in reality, things I'd always appreciated about him. Bean did not return his gaze. I patted Bean's neck. You don't think it's possible? You do? That dog has been here forever. We just need a miracle, I said. I don't believe in those, Chad said. I usually didn't either, but Asher and his generating buzz talk had turned me into a believer. Yeah, well, I hope a little hope never hurt anyone. I made sure Bean's leash was secure and stood. His tail immediately started wagging with the knowledge that we were leaving his kennel. Chad, still on the other side of the door, said, Can I help? I just need to pass Francesca off to Rodrigo, and then I'm done for the day. If you don't mind drinking a dog coffee, I said, you're in. Chad had insisted we use one of the dog's seatbelts from the shelter, and much to Bean's frustration, he was in the back seat of my car, unable to move very far. It was probably safer for all of us this way, but I felt like Bean had spent most of his life trapped, so I liked to let him stick his head out the window. I know, I said. Chad is a meanie. Chad let a breath out of his nose. I'm the only one who cares about your life, Bean. Maybe you should love me instead. He reached his hand back, and I watched in the rearview mirror as Bean turned his head, pressing it against the seat in a rebuff. Ouch, I said. Rejected. Whose house are we going to again? Chad asked. Dale's. He's Asher's friend. Dale. The guy who worked check-in last time? Yeah. He wants to be a social media influencer or something, Chad said. I didn't realize Chad had talked to him at all. I thought he'd only been asking Asher the questions. Was he recording? He does that a lot. He wants to go viral, Chad said. Doesn't everybody? I don't, Chad said. Yeah, me neither. And Asher, you're still seeing him? We're hanging out, I said. I didn't want to completely deter the guy who I'd always thought was right for me, for the one who was completely wrong. But really, that was all Asher and I were doing, hanging out. We hadn't gone on one date. We hadn't gone on a date. We hadn't kissed. He hadn't even hugged me since I declared to him I wasn't his girlfriend at Olive Garden. My mission hadn't changed. I was helping him save face and eventually telling him the truth. Once I knew Dale wasn't going to follow through with his humiliation plan. Camilla said he'd asked a lot of questions about me at D&D night. She tried to keep it vague, but sensed he was digging. What have you been doing this summer? I asked, changing the subject. Not much. Working. I'm going up to Lake Tahoe for the 4th, so that should be fun. My head whipped in Chad's direction, but I quickly glued my eyes back on the road. A light ahead turned red, and I lifted my foot off the gas. What? He asked. Nothing. It's just my mom wants me to visit for the 4th. She lives near there. You should. That would be fun. No, yeah, maybe, I said. I still haven't decided. The 4th isn't that far away. I know. I need to decide. Why wouldn't you go? This was where I should have told him about my non-existent relationship with my mom, but that was too much baggage to dump on someone, especially on someone I eventually wanted to date. I hate to leave my dad alone on holidays. That was true too. The directions on my phone guided us to a neighborhood in the hills. Well, if you do end up going, let me know. My aunt lives there, and my cousins always take me to some fun parties on the 4th. I'm sure they wouldn't care if you came too. I'll probably be hanging out with my mom and sister, but yeah, if I have some time that day, I'll text you. I pulled up in front of a huge Spanish-style house. There was a large paved circular drive and a meticulously manicured hedge leading up to imposing wood double doors. This is where he lives? Chad asked. I know, right? I said. Another car had pulled up at the same time, and it took me a second to realize it was Camilla. She pointed to the driveway and then shrugged, asking if we were allowed to drive on it. I shrugged right back. Is that Camilla? Chad asked. Yeah, she's bringing the doggy coffee. I'm bringing the dog. Are you gonna pull in? My car feels too junky for that driveway. I should park on the street. One time I parked in our driveway at home, and my car decided to leak oil all over. Dad poured cat litter on it and kept it like that for several days. This wasn't a cat litter kind of neighborhood. I pulled up to the curb and turned off my car. Camilla turned into the driveway and parked next to Asher's Toyota, which was already near the side gate. This neighborhood is insane, Camilla said when I met her up with her, Bean and Chad in tow. She was holding a drink carrier full of puppuccinos. I know. Hey, Chad, she said. I didn't know you were coming. That was for me. It was a reprimand. This was probably her validation that I was going to blow everything up. She was probably right. Why did I let him come? Chad being here with me would just be more evidence for Dale's suspicions. Hello, Bean, Camilla said. He scratched at one of the paving stones as if to show her that he wasn't interested. Maybe you'd be nicer to me if you saw me slaving over your dog drinks. He wouldn't, Chad assured her. Is one of them dairy-free? I asked. The white foam topping filled at least 3/4 of each cup. Camilla liked to brag that they did their doggy coffees different from most places. It wasn't just the whipped cream. There was a dog-safe drink below that as well. Yes, the one that says baby on the side is for you. I laughed. If I could control my stomach, do you think I would tell it to deprive me of ice cream? Your stomach, the only thing you can't control. Camilla gave me her teasing smile. I wish that was the only thing I couldn't control. My whole life was feeling pretty out of control at the moment. We let ourselves in the gate and into Dale's backyard. It was even more impressive than the front. Large squares of stamped concrete, each one bordered with tightly trimmed grass, surrounded a massive pool, complete with a pool house. Near the pool was a fire pit surrounded by stone benches, and on the far side of the yard was an expansive grass area that lined with trees and flowers. That's where Asher was, along with Dale and Brett. Along with Dale and Brett. They were setting up a short table made out of a piece of plywood balanced on top of 4 cinder blocks. It looked out of place in the fancy yard. Asher looked up as we arrived and smiled at me. My stomach gave a surprising jolt, and I pressed my palms against it. Next to me, Camilla raised her eyebrows. No comment, I responded. I want to see if this dog likes me, Brett announced, and he walked our way, sat on the ground at least 20 feet from Bean. Come here, boy. Bean stared, uninterested, then turned a 180, presenting him with his backside. Wow, Brett said, hopping up and walking over. He didn't have to make it so obvious. Are you going to drink a dog drink today? I asked him. I'm always up for fun in the name of social media views, right, Dale? Dale, phone already out, joined us in time to hear Brett's statement. Everything is about social media views. Well, this is actually for a cause, but sure, I said. Which will only be spread through social media views. I couldn't argue with him there. True. Asher came strutting over and immediately greeted Bean by dropping to the ground next to him. Hey, good boy, he said, scratching behind his ears. Bean's tongue lolled out of his mouth, and his tail went crazy. He placed his paws on Asher's knees and licked his face several times. Are you ready to beat these suckers in a coffee drinking contest? Bean gave him a single bark. Well, aren't you a dog whisperer? Dale said, recording the exchange. Seriously? Camilla said. Asher climbed to his feet. Hey, he said to me. I thought he'd lean in for a hug. I even prepared myself for it, opening my arms a bit, but he didn't. He turned to Chad. You brought a recruit. The second-hand embarrassment is very hard right now. Very much there. You brought a recruit. I did. I dropped my arms and pretended to mess with Bean's leash. Hopefully this video will make it, so potential adopters will sign up for the next one, Asher said. I hope, I said. I don't know, Chad said. People might be wary about something like this. They might, Asher said in his good-natured way. But not trying definitely won't work. An awkward silence fell over the group. Where should I put these? Camilla said, lifting the coffee carrier. Follow me, Asher said. Dale sniffed the dog coffee. Is this gonna be nasty? He asked. He was on his knees along with Asher, Brett, Chad, and me. Camilla held her camera phone, ready to film. Bean was next to me, sitting like the goodest boy. I had my hand over his coffee and mine. The plan was to let go after Camilla's countdown and hope Bean looked fun and playful on camera, which, for the right people, he was. It's not bad, Camilla said. I've tasted it before. Really? Why? Dale asked. So that when people ask if it's safe, I can say, yes, it is. It's made with all natural ingredients. I've even tried it. Do you say it just like that? Brett asked. Pretty much. Asher looked down the line. His cup was on the table in front of him. Everybody ready? Are we picking it up and drinking it? Chad asked. Or literally drinking it like a dog. He was at the very end of the line, furthest away from me. I wondered if Asher had done that on purpose. The thought made a chuckle work its way into the back of my throat. I quickly squelched it. However you want to do it, Asher said, but you can't use your hands. Gross, Chad muttered. Is everyone ready? Camilla asked, her finger hovering over the record button. She glanced my way. Are you ready, Bean? I asked. He obviously had no idea what was going on, but he gave me a happy bark anyways. 3, 2, I uncovered the cup and patted the table. Bean moved forward. 1. Up, Bean, I said, hoping he'd put his paws on the table and dig in. Treat. Bean lunged forward and stuck his nose in the cup. To my right, Asher had his tongue in the cup. I laughed and picked up the cup with my teeth, tilting it back and trying to dump its contents in my mouth. I got a face full of liquid. Ugh. The cream wasn't budging. I put the cup back on the table and sucked in a big mouthful followed by another. That's when Bean licked the side of my face. This is disgusting, Brett said. What is it again? Bean tipped over his cup, and the contents spilled across the table, and my eyes caught the word baby on the side in Camilla's handwriting. Oh, crap! Bean jumped on top of the table as I tried to spit anything left in my mouth onto the grass. That's when Bean noticed the line of people with their treats. I grabbed for his leash, but missed as he barreled across the table, knocking over cups as he went. When he got to the end, where Chad was kneeling, he sneezed in his face and jumped down. Well deserved. Dale was on his feet, brushing off his jeans with his hands. These are my nice jeans. Why do you wear nice jeans to a dog competition? Brett wondered aloud. Chad was making disgusted noises, wiping up doggy snot and doggy drink with the bottom of his shirt. Bean kept running. Halt! Sit! Stay! I yelled one command after the next as I chased after him, wiping my face on the sleeve of my shirt. I finally got him under control before he could bolt out the side gate with me in tow. He sat, acting like he had been listening the entire time. Hey, Callie, stop it. Sorry, cat. He sat, acting as if he had been listening the entire time. His expression as he looked up at me seemed to ask, Why are you out of breath? You know why, I mumbled to him. I turned to see Asher come skidding to a halt. I thought you might need some muscle, he said, then looked at Bean. But he's fine. I smirked. Were you going to be the muscle? I've been told I'm very strong. By your aggressively nice mom? He laughed, then pushed back his floppy pushed his floppy hair off his forehead. Well, that was a disaster. You think we have anything usable? He nodded enthusiastically. It'll be funny. I'll edit something together and we'll shoot it over to you later. What? No, I'll edit it. This was my actual job. He was a volunteer. my cat's playing with my... No, Kelly, stop. She thinks my hairbrush is a toy now for some reason. Okay. What? No, I'll edit it. This was my actual job. He was a volunteer. I wasn't going to make him do anything more than he'd already done. It's easy for me, he said. I have all the software and stuff. It's fine. I got it. Miss, I'm bad at social media, has it? I do, I said. I hated counting on someone else to do something for me, wondering whether they were going to follow through. Doing it myself saved all the disappointment. Asher held up his hands in surrender. Okay, can't wait to see it. Thank you for helping today. I squeezed his arm because apparently I had the desire to touch him, and since I wasn't sure why he'd stopped hugging me, this seemed like the most appropriate form of physical contact I could get away with in the moment. He squeezed my arm back in a joking manner. You're welcome. Are you making fun of me? I mean, yeah, sort of. I laughed. Asher glanced back at the group. Did you force Jed to come or what? He didn't seem like he wants to be here. Doesn't seem like he wants to be there. No, he was getting off work when I was picking up Bean. He asked. I figured we could use an extra body. I studied Asher's face for a reaction, but there was none. Bean became restless at my feet and tugged on the leash to head back to the table. Oh, now you want your drink, I asked him. He smiled up at me. If only you knew we were doing this for you, you cute little jerk. I met Asher's eyes and nodded towards the others. Should we? Yeah. He lingered for a second longer. Like he wanted to say something, but Bean was tugging on my arm, and instead Asher laughed at him and led the way back. Who won anyway? Brett asked when Asher and I reached him. I think Bean did, Asher said. I think the dog lost big time, Chad said. Not sure there will be many prospects with that footage. I bit my lip. He was probably right. The only loser today is my pants, Dale said. That earned a laugh from Camilla. I heard they were expensive, Brett said. Dale threw his empty doggy coffee cup at him. Will you airdrop me the video? I asked Camilla. Yeah, of course. She pulled out her phone and pressed several buttons. Ooh, I want it too, Brett said. Then everyone had their phones out and were accepting the video from her. Just don't post it anywhere, I said. I have to mess with it. The whole point of this activity was to show Bean looking lovable. I had my work cut out for me. Yes, ma'am, Dale said. We better get Bean back to the shelter, I said. It closed at 5 on Saturdays, and it was almost 5. Bye, Ren, Asher said, squeezing my arm again, his eyes twinkling. You're such a punk. And that is the end of chapter 12. I hope that you all enjoyed it, and I will be back. Let me see how long this next chapter is. And I'll be back in a few minutes with another chapter.